Hello everyone, and welcome to Mystic Whisper, where we dive deep into the hidden truths of the universe, empowering you to unlock your potential and overcome life's challenges. Today, we're going to uncover a profound and unspoken law, a universal principle that, once understood, gives you the power to overcome anything life throws your way. This isn't a law you'll hear about often, but it's one that has been used by the world's most resilient and successful people throughout history. We're talking about the law of inner mastery, that is, the ability to overcome any obstacle, not by changing the external world, but by mastering your inner world. This is the key to transcending challenges, limitations, and adversity, no matter how impossible they may seem. The law of inner mastery states that the most powerful way to overcome external challenges is to master your internal state, that is, your thoughts, emotions, reactions, and mindset. In a world that often places emphasis on external solutions, whether it's finding the right job, relationship, or financial situation, many of us overlook the fact that our inner world is the real source of power. When we face obstacles, our first instinct might be to look outward for solutions, trying to fix or manipulate the outside world to align with our desires. But here's the truth that the law of inner mastery reveals: the external world is a reflection of your inner state. Every challenge you encounter is, in part, shaped by how you internally perceive and respond to it. If you approach a challenge with inner chaos, letting negative thoughts and emotions dominate your mind, the external world will mirror that chaos. However, when you approach challenges from a place of inner mastery, you gain control over your reactions, which can significantly alter the outcome. Mastering your inner world requires practice and patience, but the rewards are profound. When you shift your inner state, you unlock the potential to change your external circumstances in ways that may have previously seemed impossible. The first key to inner mastery is understanding the immense power your thoughts have over your life. Our thoughts are not just fleeting ideas that pass through our minds, they are energy, and this energy shapes our reality. Each thought we have creates a ripple effect that influences our emotions, actions, and ultimately, the outcomes we experience. For example, consider how a single negative thought can spiral into an entire narrative that colors your perception of reality. You might start with a small worry, like what if this project fails? And before you know it, your mind is racing with worst-case scenarios. These thoughts trigger a cascade of emotions like anxiety, doubt, and fear, which then influence how you behave. You may become hesitant, less proactive, or even paralyzed by indecision, all because of the power of a single thought. The reverse is also true. Positive, empowering thoughts create a completely different internal and external experience. When you think, "I am capable of handling this challenge," your emotions shift toward confidence, optimism, and determination. Your actions follow suit. You take bold steps, seek solutions, and persist even in the face of difficulty. Mastering your thoughts involves becoming aware of the mental patterns that shape your reality. It requires consciously choosing to redirect negative thoughts and cultivate empowering ones. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending challenges don't exist. Instead, it's about reframing your mindset so that your thoughts work in your favor, supporting your ability to find solutions rather than reinforcing your fears. With practice, you can develop the ability to pause when a disempowering thought arises, recognize it for what it is, and choose a new, empowering thought that aligns with your goal of overcoming the challenge. This is the foundation of inner mastery. Emotional mastery is another essential pillar of inner mastery. While thoughts influence our emotions, emotions themselves are powerful forces that can either propel us forward or hold us back. When faced with adversity, it's natural to experience a range of emotions like fear, frustration, anger, sadness, but how you deal with those emotions will determine whether you overcome the obstacle or become stuck in it. Emotional mastery doesn't mean suppressing how you feel or pretending to be happy when you're not. It means developing the ability to acknowledge your emotions without letting them control you. Many of us have been taught to either ignore our emotions or let them dictate our actions. But the truth is, neither extreme leads to mastery. Instead, the key is learning how to process and regulate your emotions so that they serve you rather than hinder you. For example, when you're facing a setback, you might initially feel overwhelmed by frustration or disappointment. These emotions are valid and natural, but if left unchecked, they can cloud your judgment and lead to impulsive decisions. Emotional mastery involves taking a step back and giving yourself space to feel those emotions without acting on them immediately. Through techniques like mindfulness, deep breathing, or journaling, you can process the emotion, release it, and then move forward from a place of clarity. The more you practice emotional mastery, the easier it becomes to remain grounded and focused, even in the midst of challenges. You'll find that your emotional resilience increases, allowing you to bounce back from setbacks faster and with greater determination. Perspective is everything. The way you view a challenge can either magnify it or diminish its power over you. Often, the real obstacle isn't the situation itself, it's how we interpret it. When we view a problem as something that's happening to us, something we can't control or influence, we become disempowered. But when we shift our perspective, we begin to see challenges as opportunities for growth, learning, and transformation. One of the most powerful questions you can ask yourself when faced with a challenge is, how else can I view this? This simple question opens the door to new perspectives. What might initially seem like a failure can be reframed as a learning experience. What feels like rejection might actually be redirection towards something better. Shifting your perspective doesn't mean ignoring the reality of the situation or sugarcoating it. It means expanding your viewpoint to see the full picture. For instance, many successful people have faced significant failures, but they didn't let those failures define them. Instead, they viewed them as stepping stones on the path to success. They chose to see failure not as the end, but as an essential part of their growth. By consciously choosing to shift your perspective, you gain the ability to see the silver lining in even the most challenging situations. You start to understand that adversity is not something to be feared, but something that can teach you valuable lessons and lead to greater success down the road. Taking responsibility is one of the most empowering things you can do in the face of adversity. It's easy to fall into the trap of blaming external circumstances for our problems, whether it's other people, bad luck, or the economy. But the truth is, as long as you place the source of your problems outside yourself, you give away your power to change them. When you take full responsibility for your life, that is, your actions, your reactions, and your mindset, you reclaim your power. This doesn't mean that everything is your fault, but it does mean that you have the ability to choose how you respond to everything that happens in your life. When you accept responsibility for your internal state, you begin to see challenges as opportunities to grow, evolve, and take control of your life. Taking responsibility doesn't mean taking the blame for things outside your control. Instead, it's about recognizing that your power lies in how you respond to life's challenges. When you take responsibility for your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you stop waiting for external circumstances to change and start creating change from within. This mindset shift is one of the most powerful aspects of the law of inner mastery. It frees you from victimhood and places you in the driver's seat of your life. Once you take ownership of your internal world, you begin to see that overcoming challenges is not just possible, it's inevitable. Inner mastery is a powerful tool, but it's not enough on its own. The final key to overcoming any challenge is taking action. Once you've mastered your inner state, that is, your thoughts, emotions, and perspective, it's time to put that mastery into practice in the real world. Action is the bridge between your internal mastery and the external results you want to achieve. But this isn't just about taking random action. The key is to take aligned, purposeful action that's grounded in the inner clarity you've cultivated. When you act from a place of inner mastery, your actions become more intentional, focused, and effective. You're no longer reacting out of fear or desperation. Instead, you're responding with confidence and purpose. It's important to understand that action doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it rarely will be. The key is to start, even if you're unsure of the outcome. Action creates momentum, and momentum leads to breakthroughs. When you combine inner mastery with consistent, aligned action, you become unstoppable in the face of challenges. Persistence is another crucial element. Overcoming significant challenges often requires sustained effort over time. There may be setbacks, obstacles, and moments of doubt along the way, but by continuing to take action from a place of inner mastery, you build resilience and move closer to your goal. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions that can hold you back from overcoming challenges. It's natural to feel fear when faced with adversity, but fear doesn't have to control you. The law of inner mastery teaches us that fear is not something to be avoided, it's something to be faced and transformed. The key to overcoming fear is not to eliminate it entirely, that's nearly impossible. Instead, The goal is to develop the courage to act in spite of fear. Fear often arises when we're stepping outside our comfort zone, which means that it's often a sign that we're growing. Rather than seeing fear as an enemy, see it as a guide that points you toward the areas of your life where you need to grow. When you confront your fears head-on, you begin to dissolve their power over you. This doesn't mean recklessly charging into dangerous situations, it means gradually expanding your comfort zone by taking small, courageous steps toward your goals. Each time you face a fear and move through it, you build confidence and resilience, making it easier to overcome future challenges. Fear can often be transformed by shifting your mindset. Instead of viewing fear as a signal to retreat, see it as a signal to advance. When you do this, fear becomes less of a barrier and more of a stepping stone toward your ultimate success. Thank you for joining me on this journey of inner mastery. If you found value in this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more content on personal growth, spirituality, and overcoming life's challenges. Until next time, remember, you have the power to overcome anything, and it starts within.